Hey, how we doing, everybody? Shit, this is crazy. Okay, just a second. Thanks for coming, everybody. Yeah, I'm pumped. Let me just mute everybody. I haven't done Zoom meetings like this. Let me see if I can. What do I mute?
Part of the webcam.
Yeah, morning, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Yeah, really excited to have everybody here. Yeah, everyone cool. Well, I'm going to be recording, so I'm just warning everybody. Yeah, this is going to be recorded, so don't say anything you don't want recorded. Probably just going to chuck it on my YouTube or something. I'm going to start YouTubing more because everyone's stuck in quarantine. Might as well be making content. Yeah, yeah, middle of the night. Yeah, where are you, man? Let's just focus. Let me just there we go. Berlin. Yeah, see, I try to make the time zone work with everybody reasonably well, which is, yeah, very, very tricky when like top fucking secret members are all over the place. Yeah, nice. Nice, guys. Nice. All right. So, guys, what I'm going to run through today, as I said, this is not going to be like a pitch or anything like that. I actually want to just give you guys mad value and answer questions and stuff like that you've got about making cash in the pandemic. Obviously, disclaimer, because I've never copped many hate messages, and I've copped a lot about making money in the pandemic, and I don't really care because I believe in what I'm doing, and I know that I'm actually doing good stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty touchy subject. I'll put it that way. And so because of that, just full disclaimer, sucks the pandemic's going on, but I'm just trying to make the most of it. And exactly, Tyrone, money does need to go around. Like, that's exactly right. And so it's like, you got to feed your family. You got to make sure that you're all right. And at the end of the day, if the government's paying for everything, well, somebody's got to pay taxes to the government. So I'm happy for that to be me. And that's just kind of how I'm looking at it. So, and on that, I just want to start with saying that, I think it's really important in times like this to think about, are you contributing to society, or are you detracting? And the best way to kind of think about that is, it's like, okay, all those people who went and hoarded toilet paper, then, that's just pulling away from society. They're just going to resell back and try and make money. That's not adding any value to the market. It's just taking away. Versus if you were to import stuff, manufacture stuff, add goods to the market that there's a shortage of, and you're not just pulling it out to put it back in, then you're actually doing a really good thing. And you're contributing to the economy, contributing to society, and you should be rewarded for that. You should make money for that. That's just how I think about it all. And the other thing is, and what I'll do is I'm just going to do a screen share and walk you through, guys. I'll pull up my whiteboard. And just a second, I'm just making sure I can still see the chat as well. Yeah, it's not going to let me see both nicely. Thanks, Zoom. I could be doing something wrong. But yeah, so the thing is, when you think about the different markets and stuff like that to be in, I'm going to be talking a lot about e-commerce, but also just hustling in general and wholesaling and just making money in general. This is going to be pretty broad, and then I'll do a very quick run through of my philosophy on it all, and then I'll jump to some questions. So if you look at okay, pandemic started here. This is ground zero. It started to kick off. And then you got stuff like toilet paper, where people have there was this level of supply, which was fine. And the level of supply during the pandemic is actually the same. People are still wiping their ass the same amount. But what happened is you had all the hoarders come, and if you went like this was the demand spiked because all the hoarders grabbed it. And then that's meant that like in the shops, even though it should have been that, it's kind of dipped, right? What's going to happen? Well, with toilet paper and stuff like that, people hoarding, it's going to bounce back because there's not actually more getting used. So that's why you're starting to see stories of people getting like caught holding the bag. And it's the biggest thing now is in any market that you're in, you just got to think like, okay, if the market's doing well, is it going to continue to do well? Thinking about why is it doing well? Now there's other stuff where it's like masks and stuff like that, which are obvious ones. Anything PPE, like personal protective equipment, the consumption's gone up. There's more getting used. And so then you've got to think about if you're going to get into any of those markets, you've really got to say, okay, well, if the pandemic ended tomorrow, because it could just, like, it probably won't, but it could just end tomorrow, then would I be okay? Or am I going to get stuck with a heap of inventory? Am I going to be did I make some bad decisions if it ends tomorrow? Or is, everybody going to jump into this market and am I going to be stuck? And the real principle right now is it's all about the price that you buy it at. You don't want to be paying crazy prices for stuff and buying heaps of inventory because you could be just left holding the bag because everybody catches up, the market catches up, or demand dies down because consumption dies back down. And that's really the principle of anything that you're doing, whether it's e-commerce or wholesaling, any kind of goods that you're selling in the pandemic. That's just the most important thing. Let me just jump back to speaker view. Okay, so why not dropship as opposed to buying stock? Okay, so there's a couple of reasons here. Firstly, it depends where you're dropshipping from. So if you're dropshipping locally, and by that I mean if you're in the United States, you're shipping from the United States to the United States. So you're shipping within your own country. I'm not seeing a huge problem with that, except for one thing, price gouging. So price gouging laws are making it kind of tricky to get a markup. And now, technically, you might have been price gouging before, but now there's been depends where you are, the legalities. But for example, in California, if you put the prices up on goods by over 10%, you're now classed as price gouging and you can get a massive fine and it's even a felony. So it's pretty crazy. So UK, I don't actually know the laws there, but I would say, because I'm in Australia, we're technically owned by the UK and we've got price gouging laws, which pretty much, they're vague. I'll admit they're vague, but do you want to be the guy they test them out on? So if you were to buy something and mark it up exponentially, then now you're price gouging. And that could be a real problem because they could just come down on you because it's got a known price in the market. So they can go, no, well, it was priced like this. You're selling it for this. You've tripled the price. That's a problem. That's the problem with it locally. The second problem is if you put drop shipping from China, which is the game that everyone's been playing for a long time. It's shipping delays. So there are massive shipping delays and you got to look at who's getting priority. So the courier companies are getting priority. Well, firstly, the government's getting priority. They're number one, right? The government's getting massive priority. And they're subcontracting, which just means forced borrowing planes from the courier companies, freight companies and stuff like that. And the government gets priority. Then you got the courier companies. They own their own cargo planes and stuff like that. Then there's stuff that comes via the sea, and there are massive delays in the sea because of the ports that they use getting stuff out of China. So a lot of it stops in Hong Kong. Hong Kong's got massive issues right now. All this stuff, by the way, this is about where it's at right now. So then you end up just with massive shipping delays because the normal routes that you use when you drop shipping, they're just kind of fucked because they're like bottom of the barrel. They're below the courier companies. It's like EMS shipping and all that kind of stuff. It's just the bottom of the barrel. You get pushed to the back of the line, you get jumped by the people paying higher prices. So shipping one item automatically means, you get dropped to the bottom of the barrel. Shit's so delayed, you're going to get so many refunds and chargebacks, you're going to lose your payment processor. And I've had that happen before. I had that happen with Chinese New Year once. PayPal do not like me. They don't like me because I sold a heap of stuff. Chinese New Year led to delays. I treated it pretty good. I actually went and refunded heaps of people. Just said, look, do you want your money back or do you want to wait? Refunded maybe 10% of my orders. PayPal came down and said, no, not happening. And then, suspended my account froze the funds for 6 months. So you got to be really careful in this time just about refunds and chargebacks and stuff, because the payment processes are being tricky too. And you might go, oh, I'm just going to use Shopify payments then. Shopify are actively closing down stores in certain markets if you're drop shipping. So examples like hand sanitizer, masks, stuff like that, they've got to answer to Stripe. And yeah, that's another issue, because they'll basically say, yeah, look, we're not taking the risk. And they've been shutting down literally thousands of websites per week. Shopify just comes along and they talk to us about stuff that, like some of my sites, and they were cool with us. And guys, I'm going to tell you the secret from Pandemic Cash of part of this. This is what I think is the best model. And I can only give so much here. So how do you protect yourself from payment processes? It's pretty much, don't be price gouging, because that's the excuse that they're using to shut people down. And like, don't have refunds and chargebacks too high of a rate. That's really the gist of it. And that means if you're shipping from China, drop shipping like individual items, then you got a problem. Now, if you buy some inventory, you'll be surprised how cheap it is. If you go on Alibaba and you have a look, you'll be surprised. Now, this is where I've been able to work it out, and I've had Shopify talk to me, and they're cool with me. They're cool with everything I'm doing. I'm in one of their high-risk categories, and they're fine with me. Their payment processing. And I've also got backup plans. I've got Stripe is cool with me. If Shopify shut me down, I've got PayPal via my company, and I don't trust them much. But then I've also gone to my bank and got a merchant bank account, which is, it's just important to have these backup plans. For $40 a month, I've got that merchant bank account sitting there, and yeah, it'll be a pain in the ass to hook up, but if I have to, I can do it. It does wipe out all those shitty dropshipping companies, Patrick. It does. That's why all the Facebook CPMs are really low right now, because it just went and wiped out so many people. So yes, a lot of it is about air freight right now. What I'm doing is I'm basically air freighting, and I'm getting some stuff locally and getting some stuff from China. So let's say I've got some goods that I can get locally, but they're just like the shitty version, like like it's just raw product, right? Let's imagine it was like face masks. I can get them and they're not packaged nice. And then I get like nice packaging from China, like blister packaging or something like that. And it costs me fuck all. I get it air freighted over. Now what I end up with is my own brand. And how do you package it? You just get like people off Airtasker or like TaskRabbit and stuff, or you just get like, there's so many people need work right now. And all this stuff's from Pandemic Cash. I'm literally giving you the secrets from it. So, but yeah, that's the idea. Which Australian bank is best for a merchant account? I'm not too sure. I'm using ANZ, and they've been really cool. Yeah, exactly. So Zon says he's got two brothers, lives with him, and a cousin. He could probably use them. Definitely. I'm using share houses pretty heavily to just put stuff together. So what I end up with, and I'll just screen share again. Okay, so I'll just wipe this all out. I'll just jump over to here. So what I've basically got is, just a second. So I got packaging. And this is from China. I've got my goods. And this could be anything. Like seriously, this could be prepper meals that you get done up in a local restaurant that's shut down. There's massive demand for food that will store long life and stuff like that. And if you package it up as prepper goods, all those places are sold out. And guess what? All those restaurants, they're not in business. You pay the owner to just prep a heap of stuff for you, you'll have no problem. So I get the goods locally. I then get it put together. And I just pay per unit. So I got a share house, for example. I got a couple of them that will just, and I just say, yeah, 50 cents a unit, just package this stuff up for me. And then I also just have them ship it. Like, it's that simple. I have like just these, this is a scrunched up one, but just these Avery shipping labels. And it's really easy for me to just export it. The orders each day, even though there's like hundreds, and just, basically put it together and then get them to ship it. And you're shipping locally. And so now you've got really short shipping times, cheap shipping. This lead time here is not that crazy coming from China because you're doing air freight, and you just make sure that whatever you're shipping from there, it's just going to make sense. So I've been using DHL. I've heard in the last couple of days they're having some issues. I've been using TNT, which is FedEx as well, and just to have a chat with the shipping companies all the time. So that's basically where, you know, you would normally drop ship this stuff. Then yeah. Do I have a fulfillment agency in China that I work with? No, I actually do everything directly. And what I do is I actually use Alibaba Trade Assurance. What that means is the goods are going to be, I'm going to get them, or I get a refund. Basically, Alibaba will. Yeah, we've got any hot mics for anyone to mute. I think we're good now. Yeah, basically, yeah, I'll use Alibaba Trade Assurance, which means I'm going to get the goods. Now, when you think about shipping, you can basically do it a couple of ways. You can organize your shipping yourself, but you got to deal with customs in your local area and all that kind of stuff. Like that, you know, it can be a pain. Now, I will always talk to the shipping company, even if I'm getting the guys in China to handle it for me. So I might contact some guys and I'll decide, okay, I'm going to bring in that product. Now that might be packaging or it could be the whole product. But I'm making sure that it's branded my way, because then, that was the point I was getting to. If it's branded under my brand, then how can you call me a price gouger? Because that product did not exist in the market before. They're not going to the large companies and saying, well, show us your profit and loss because we want to know your profit margins. No, it's about, okay, this was your price, this is your price. If there was no price before because I've brought a new product into the market under a new name and I'm a manufacturer technically, then how the fuck am I a price gouger? So that's really the long and short of that. So there's a couple of different ways that they'll try to ship it to you. Now, it's called... it's FOB, basically means, it's like an acronym for free on board or something. It basically means you've got to pick it up. You've got to get your courier company to go pick it up from them. And it can be a little bit dangerous doing that, because if you don't get your goods, like let's say you buy your goods, they put it out the back door, and then it's just like, okay, well, our job's done. And the courier company changes their mind, then you're kind of stuck with a heap of goods in China. Versus if you get what's called EXW, it means that the supplier of the goods is in charge of getting them to your door. And also keep in mind, these companies are sometimes quite large. They'll have shipping discounts. So S. Daniel, you said, so I'm not drop shipping items. I'm sourcing goods locally, packaging it and shipping it individually. Basically, yeah. And also wholesaling locally as well. So I'll just get to some of these other questions. So any comments on the recent move of Amazon US affiliate and best alternative of the same if one is having purely US traffic? It's just going to be hustling and working out deals. I would be hitting posts in Facebook groups saying, look, I've got traffic for this certain category and stuff like that, and just putting together affiliate deals. I know a lot of guys who are doing SEO, you've been really hurt by Amazon affiliate stuff. You really got to put together your own deals. I'd be mainly sourcing them from Facebook groups. It's going to be the easiest way, but then I'd be doing cold outreach. I'd just literally contacting stores and saying, let's do a deal. Like just literally reach out directly to Shopify stores and stuff like that. So how do I source local products? So it depends what I'm doing. So some stuff I do source from China. So don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying you've got to do one or the other. It depends what you're doing. There's a lot of, so if you think about like, because we even get our labels printed locally, because there's a lot of label companies, like printing companies, which are really, really cheap right now. Because they normally had all this work from corporate companies, and then that's gone out the window because all those large banks and all that normally ordered off them, they don't have that business. So now we're getting like half price on all of our printing stuff. Now with other products, just think about, like, let's imagine that there is a company that sells wholesale to large companies of some goods. It could be disinfectant wipes. It could be anything, right? Where they normally have a market where they'll be like selling it to large corporates. Those large corporates are closed, depending on what country. And if you're in some sort of lockdown, they've now lost like 80% of their sales immediately, right? So what do they got to do? Well, they got to sell it, and they don't know how to sell because they're used to just selling directly to large corporates. And so what I've been able to do is just go straight to, I've been able to go straight direct to some of these companies, which normally only deal B2B, and say, look, I've got a B2C route for you, which I'm going to get to in a second about traffic sources. And try to get those companies on board that have just lost a huge chunk of their business and get them on board to be willing to sell B2C. And by cutting them in on the profit, you'll have a good chance. So what I do, for example, one of my products, I said, look, not only will I pay you for the goods, I will give you 1/3 of the profit, which is a really good deal for them because they're used to making small percentages because they're selling B2B. And now I'm saying, yeah, look, no, we're going to sell retail pricing and we're going to cut you in and you're going to get 1/3 of the profit. For them, it's an amazing deal because they've just lost so much revenue from everything being closed. So it depends what you're doing. But I'm more than happy, like doing these equity deals like that in that direction, because normally I do equity deals in the other direction where I'm trying to get a piece of a business, giving a piece of the business to lock down a supplier and say, only deal with me, has been working really well. So, and they'll work their ass off for you as well. And they know what they're doing. That's the other thing. They know the market. They know the supply chains. They know everything. And as I said, like there's prepper meals and stuff like that where you can put together your own supply. There's plenty of restaurants and stuff that need to, that are out of work. And if you get a small local restaurant that needs to make some extra money, it'd be very easy to get them to prepare stuff that's like those packaged up. Here's a 4-week food supply of long life stuff. I'll just hit some of these other ones. So a big question that's coming up is preferred traffic sources. Okay, so Facebook, I'm not running any Facebook right now. And it's not that you can't for some markets. It depends what you're doing. I am getting away with Google ads, no problem. Now, Google apparently are coming down on price gouging. But as I said, if you're a manufacturer and this is a new product and you look like a real company and you make a nice logo and you get a good domain, just come up with a nice name and everything looks legit, why would they stop you? You're a real company just trying to serve goods. Like, why would they come down on you? And I've had no issues from AdWords. And so because it's AdWords, that means you got YouTube, Google search, which is working well, Google like text search because you've got buyer intent. And then there's Google display network. And that's how you can hit your retargeting pretty well. If you've got mass demand kind of products, especially if you're in the USA, there's a site called Udemy. That's UDIMI. And that's email lists. So you can basically send out emails. You're just paying per click. So this is people now it's not Udemy. It's not UDEMY. It's UDIMI. And I teach this one in my Hack Your Agency course. It's just one of the traffic, like there's a million traffic channels, but it's solo ads. And basically you pay per click and you get to write the email copy and they'll send it to their list. So the big thing with that is you pre-qualify them with your pricing and everything before they even click. So you're only paying for qualified clicks. So that's one way of getting traffic, especially if you're in the USA. But you'll have to talk to them if you're not in the USA and just say, where's your traffic and stuff and talk to some vendors. But it's not just that platform, but it's that idea of solo ads, which is paying for people to email their list and paying them per click, or you could pay them an affiliate commission, whatever you want to do. Okay, so a couple of other things. When your packaging done over in China, are your goods made in the same place, or do you get your product sent and the packaging to the packaging place before getting shipped to Australia? I get everything shipped to my house and also some relatives because I'm hitting the freight limits of 100 kilos a day that DHL will give me. So I'm actually I'm sending to like 5 places right now, and then all I do is I've just got people running around transporting stuff, and putting it together at these share houses. So it's kind of like, okay, you need packaging and you need goods, get them to one place, get them packaged, and then get them to ship them out. Just get them to go down to the local post office, or if you're using something like Sendle, or there's various kind of things that you can use. Somebody said, do you do this for products that you already know that are going to work, or how do you test new products? So the fastest way to know that you're going to be able to sell is if it's something that you think you can sell bulk, make some phone calls. If it's something you're going to go B2C, then what I do is I will normally sell a couple and refund them. Or I do this thing called like a fake checkout, which I teach this in my Hack Your Agency course. So I'm not promoting too hard. I'm just telling you. And basically the idea is you send them to, say, a Clickfunnels page that's got like, it's got your product, it's ready to buy. And then when you just get a piece of JavaScript, and I give this away in my course, but you can get someone on Upwork to do it for $5, literally. And this pre-selling idea is basically that you will, they'll go to checkout. Once they put in some of their details, they don't even get to the credit card point, but they put in like enough details, then it just triggers a Google Analytics event saying, hey, we've got a conversion. So you know that you got a conversion, or you can trigger whatever you want to do, or a Facebook pixel, or whatever you want to do. And it pops up an error and says, hey, sorry, we just ran out of stock. And so that way, you know that they were going to buy. but you don't have to take the risk. You're also not doing refunds, which would risk your credit card processor. That's how I do it. I used to even take the first 4 digits of the credit card, because then they know you haven't stolen their whole credit card, but you know that they had to physically pull it out of their wallet. It wasn't going to be a abandoned cart. They were actually going to buy, if you want to go that hard with it. So that's one of my tactics I've been using for years. It's one of my favorites. So other costs. So even with a new brand, if it's clearly a commodity that used to cost $10, now you're selling for $100, isn't that still going to get you in hot water? Now, look, it does depend where you are, but new brand and repackaging and selling it a little bit different. I mean, it's hard to say what, it's worth, but a lot of the times what you're going to find is if you can find comparables, I'm cool with it. So if you can be in line with eBay prices, then you're not really, you know what I mean? You're probably going to be okay. With your new brand, that's typical. That's kind of the benchmark. eBay's kind of like that top of the price, depending on what the market is. But eBay's a good one to kind of price check. And as long as if you're doing 10x pricing, well, you're not going to be able to sell it. Like if you can, good on you, and you might get done for price gouging. But I just don't think you'd be able to sell it. I think it's more about being able to keep up with everybody else that's price gouging, but be the one that they don't target, because you've got a new brand and everybody else is just reselling shit they hoarded, and stuff like that. So I'll just give you guys a domain. Just a second. So go to preparewithtim.com. I've just dropped that in. And this will give you an idea of what people are buying. These guys are sold out with like weeks on weeks backlog, like huge backlog. And this is actually from this guy, Tim Pool, podcaster that I watched some of his stuff. And this is a product that he promotes. So I've actually just sent that to one person. I'm going to send that to everyone in the meeting. Preparewithtim.com. And if you go there, it'll redirect you to my Patriot Supply or something. You'll see here, so safe and ready meals. And it's basically, these guys are so fucking sold out. It's insane. Which brings me to, if you've got a mass market US product, then these guys are selling by paying podcast people. And they're just doing it as an affiliate deal. They're saying, yeah, we'll give you a percentage of the of what gets sold. But yeah, these guys are sold out like crazy. That'll give you an idea of what's out there. But talk to a restaurant or something. If you're going to go down that path, do your homework by talking to people, and it's just going to be an online exercise of just Googling, what meals last the longest. Have a look at competitors, who's selling what, who's sold out, and do your research like that. Okay, what other questions we've got? So I can create multiple ads with those kind of pre-selling pages to reduce the risk when you buy from Alibaba. Yeah, exactly. I want to know roughly what my cost per sale is going to be before I'm going to go and prepare with him is cloaked. It could be cloaked or something. Here's a direct link to the affiliate page that I'm referencing that's been selling out. Oops. I'll just drop that to everybody. Okay. So any other idiot-proof and noob-friendly product categories, and maybe a framework sample of the outreach message to these B2B companies. So there's a lot of products which you'll find, like eBay is my best judge. I spend a lot of time on eBay right now. And unfortunately, that leads to me impulse buying shit that I don't need accidentally. But like other than that, I typically look at what is selling. And they'll tell you, they'll say 180 sold in the last 24 hours. And don't worry too much, Robbie. I'm going to send out the recording of this if you want to catch up on the front end of this. So that'll be up within the next 24 hours. But yeah, typically I'm having a look at eBay. I'm looking at what's selling really, really well. So it'll say X amount sold in the last 24 hours or even in the last hour. And then I'm even looking at the quantities they've got available. So if it's like they're selling heaps and it's like, I can see they've got a limited quantity, then that would mean keep an eye on that. Because if they're sold out tomorrow, then that means, yeah, it's getting like, sold out and stuff like that. The recording, I'll make sure I email it to the whole list. We'll email it to everybody. You'll all get it. And I'll send it on Messenger too. So anyone who did the Messenger link, I'll make sure you guys get it first. Okay, so do I type keywords on eBay, the products that I'm planning to sell, or do I see a website that checks the trending items on eBay? So I do use, there's one called Treendly, which is actually owned by one of my members. So I'm just dropping in the link. I think they've got a free version. So there's Treendly. That's one that I use. That's especially, it's got some really good ideas on there for products. I also, thanks for the Facebook chat funnel. Yeah, cheers. How do I vet out list sources to know if they're good on Udemy? I just do small tests, so I'll spend small amounts with them, because normally what you can do on Udemy is I can do like a $20 test with most of them. Okay, so other stuff is like AliExpress. Now, I don't buy off AliExpress if I'm going to buy from China. I buy off Alibaba because it's just so much cheaper. And you're going to see big price disparities too. You're going to see something where it's 50 cents for this guy and it's like $4 over here. You got to vet them. You got to talk to them all, and you're going to get, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but this is all just research tasks. And it's just part of the game. So, but yeah, I'll look on AliExpress and I'll see the trending items, the hot items, stuff like that. And that's another place that I look. And then eBay's got its hot selling items. And then it's really just thinking and looking logically. The other thing I do is I go to the supermarket and have a look at what are they sold out of. Go to the pharmacy, see what they're sold out of. Go to Officeworks or wherever you are, what the office supply store is, and have a look at what are they selling out of. Something like UV phone sanitizers. It's these little units that you put your phone in and it's just got UV light to sanitize it. They sold out like crazy everywhere. And I think that is a big market. You can get them reasonably cheap and good markup from China. And yeah, the UV sanitizers. And if you price it up right and you actually do a good job, then that can work really well. Does the Canvas ad hack work for e-com? I have had it work in the past, but I haven't done it recently. I predominantly have used it in the past for doing it for lead generation. I have used it a little bit for e-com, but not any time recently. Okay, Jared, could you just ignore all the US, all the chat for a moment and just do a quick walkthrough, beginning to end, strategy, workflow, how I think it'll work, some benchmarks. Okay, yeah, cool. And I've only got so much time here, and I'm not trying to sell you guys on having to go buy pandemic cash. I'm going to give you enough here. You can go do it yourself anyway. But I obviously had more time to go into it all. Yeah, Alex, let me do a walkthrough right now of what I would do end to end. And I'm going to give you like just a concrete example. This is one that I came up with from pandemic cash. So I actually know I know the numbers pretty well. And I'm actually going to pull up a whiteboard that I've already previously done. Okay. So, just a second, I'm just going to share the screen. Where am I? So guys, I'm by no means a Zoom master. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see my whiteboard. All good. Okay, so imagine this. You're selling on eBay and you've got a product photo, which is like this. And by the way, eBay is a viable channel for a lot of products. I forgot to say that. eBay is a very viable channel. Don't discount that right now. People are going there to buy shit. So imagine this. This is cheap shit. This is a pretty much identical product. It's got nice packaging. Yeah, it's 3M, but if that was your own brand, then that would still be worth a lot more. Now, these guys have got to sell 10 packs and stuff like that in order to do well. These guys can sell one item at a time and get insane markup. And you'll see this pricing on eBay, how it kind of breaks down. Now, these guys are selling for like 38 cents each. Sorry, this is I'm just trying to remember. These cost 38 cents each from China. I forgot to say. These cost 38 cents each from China. And these guys are selling for $2 each. And if you were to buy them locally in that, you just kind of, if you're just selling them exactly as they come, it's pretty easy to get picked up as a price gouger. You may not, but it's possible you get picked up as a price gouger. If you package this up nice though, you might get up to $5. And I'm not saying go crazy on just packaging really nice and then selling for a lot, but there is something to say with making a brand that looks trusted, doing nice packaging and stuff is just literally worth more. It's just that simple. You can even go to corner stores and have them sell it for you on consignment. This is a channel that I'm using right now, where I'm basically going to a corner store and I say, yeah, look, here's 100 units. Pay me after you sell them, or I'll come back in a week and I'll just take them back if you couldn't sell them. And that's a viable channel to be able to sell right now if you've got a hot product. UV sanitizer and stuff like that, that would definitely work for those. I'm just trying to, it's not letting me see the chat. Just a second. I want to be able to see the chat while Zoom's been a bit of a bitch. Oh, here we go. So yeah, Jamil's just dropped in a Facebook example. They sold 1.3 thousand. Yeah, you could definitely use influencers. Shane, you could definitely use influencers. So just on that, let's say you're 38 cents a mask, 5 cents blister packaging, and 10 cents for printing a really nice label that goes in that blister packaging. You might need a blister packet sealer. And I've had to go buy like a heat sealer and stuff like that. It's like $150. And I'm not saying you have to do this stuff right out the gate. You don't have to outlay heaps of money. There are cheap ways to do it. And there's some products cost more to get set up. There's some products cost less. You make your own pick. You might pay $250 for a really good designer, or you might pay $25 on Fiverr. Just make sure it looks good. And so your total costs might be 53 cents. And then you might be paying 50 cents in labor. It would work out less because I'm paying 50 cents AUD. So it's more like 30 cents in labor for somebody to package something up for me. And they're stoked. It's changing their life because they lost their job. Like, this keeps food on the table. Like, it's genuinely contributing. And so, I'm kind of looking at around $1 and I can get like $5. That's not the exact markup I'm getting. I'm actually getting better than that right now. But then I'm paying affiliate commissions to some like comparison sites, affiliate sites and stuff like that. It's another traffic channel where you can just contact them and just say, hey, got this stuff to sell. I'll give you a cut. What's that cut look like? Probably in the range of about 30% of revenue, which is a big hit. But remember, you're charging retail prices and they're able to get volume. And am I flying everything over or shipping? Right now, I've been flying. And it's because it just takes so long with shipping and there's shipping delays and stuff. My time to get goods right now is 10 to 14 days via flying it. And that's from me saying, yeah, I'll buy it. And that's including some payment processing time to get them the money if they're non-Alibaba trade assurance, because I'm not doing that on every deal. A little bit faster if I'm doing trade assurance and Alibaba will take the money. Can I recommend some affiliate sites? Just the best way is most of them are going to be SEO. And so I don't have my own plane, but it is something I've priced up if they stop the planes. But they won't let you land in China. So that one's pretty hard, guys. Recommending affiliate sites. A lot of them are SEO driven, which means if you were to Google it and search for a bunch of search terms, you're going to end up finding them. You're going to find them in whatever space you're getting into and just directly reach out to them. Normally they'll have contact details or you might have to do a bit of digging to find them. But those SEO sites that are already ranking, they have traffic, and you can also kind of work out, are they going to make more money by promoting your product over what they're already promoting? You may. Like, if that adds up, it's a pretty easy conversation with them, and they'll normally give you a test. Okay, looking for someone to help build and set up a giveaway contest for e-com stores. Anyone that you recommend I should hire? I'm about to do a big giveaway actually for one of my products. I'm going to do that later this week. And I don't really have anyone I'd recommend because the last guy I recommend, he's too busy now. He's doing other shit. There'll be someone in the group who's pretty good at ManyChat. Try to just do a deal. Yeah. Okay. So traffic's coming from Corner Shop, consignment, Google Ads, affiliates, email lists, any others. I've also got a guy who I've got a deal with him, which happens tomorrow, which I'm giving him about $20,000 worth of stuff on consignment. That's wholesale price. He'll sell it for more. And he already runs around. He's a distributor of just random shit to small shops in regional Australia. Now, this would happen in every state in the US. There'll be guys. Now, how do you meet these guys? You would probably talk to some corner stores and say, what kind of suppliers do you have that bring you random odd stuff? I want to talk to one of them. Also, you'll find that guys who own corner stores often know other guys who own corner stores because they all communicate with each other about where they're getting supply from. Snapchat ads, I'm not doing it right now. It will stack up for some products. And I've seen people using TikTok influencers to sell stuff if they're in the USA. Don't I only have 2 products? No, I actually got a few. I've got a few now. Yeah, and I've got more and more. I focused to start, and then I'm expanding out now. And that's what I kind of recommend most people do. Start with something, get it right, and then, diversify. the good thing about diversifying is you already know how to do it all. You've already got your people in place in your share houses or whatever you're doing. So Snapchat, Jamil said Snapchat rep said no for PPE, but okay for anything, not seen as taking advantage of people. And that's where it's pretty subjective. This is where, looking legit is super important. For anyone who's getting their ads approved, it's just super important. Do I use Shopify sites for all my individual products or one site for all? I do individual Shopify sites. And with one of my deals, I've even set up a Shopify site purely for the affiliate to drive traffic because they're driving so much. I got a really good affiliate that was performing well, and just so they could get tracked really well. Now, the benefit here also is you can have multiple brands. So if you've got everything in place, you've got packaging coming, you got goods, you got your labor in place to package everything up, you got your shipping. To go to the printing place and say, oh yeah, I want half my labels to say this and half my labels to say this, then you'll find it's very little difference in cost, and you can have multiple brands if you want to. That way you can have different channels, and you might have one that you don't mind dirtying up with some dodgy affiliates, and then another one that you try to keep reputable. You're trying to do large wholesale deals. Who prints my labels in Australia? I don't want you to ask them about exactly what I'm selling if you will call them up. Let me just say I called 5 print shops around the Sydney city, and I just priced them up. I got dramatically different prices, and I went with the guys who could get it to me within 48 hours of me giving them the design. My price for stickers for labels, it depends on your sizing, but I'm paying for 10,000 of them. I think I pay like $2,000. Works out 20 cents a bottle, and that's on like larger stuff. It's going to depend what you're doing. Minimum profit margin per product. That's a really good question. And I'll just quickly say, do I use Clickfunnels and Shopify? I'm not for any of these products using Clickfunnels right now. I use it for validations. I don't use it. I find that Shopify typically converts better than Clickfunnels just because people trust it more. And also I get that built in. It's a little bit easier dealing with them just with payment processing. They are easier to get approved than Stripe, I find. Shopify payments. So just something to keep in mind. Minimum profit margin per product. Really, really good question. Now, what I do is I ask myself this question. Let me just stop the screen share. So I ask myself this question. If I had to sell it all tomorrow, would I be able to sell it? Let's say the pandemic stopped. Could I sell it all tomorrow for what I paid for it? And if I can do that, then I'm happy. And so I'm not so much fussed on, so there's a lot of different products you can do, like soaps and stuff like that right now. Anything that's antibacterial and that, you got to be careful with, you got to be careful. So I'll just be straight up. Something like hand sanitizer, I've done a bit of that stuff, and the problem is shipping it because it's highly flammable. Once you start getting into more antibacterial stuff, then you don't have those problems because it's not flammable. And so it depends where you are, what you can do, but just know your local laws and stuff like that, because some stuff that you might try to get into, it can be really tricky. And then there might be other ways to kind of achieve the same goal without getting yourself into any trouble. That profit margin, I care about the profit margin. I kind of want to be doubling my money. But I also it's more about, can I sell this in a fire sale if I had to? If I had to get out of this, could I? Do I create single product funnels within Shopify using something like Zipify pages? I'm testing right now, and I don't have conclusive results on having like the homepage is like buy 1, buy 10, buy 100 and trying to sell bulk for discounts versus going straight to a single product page. I have found that my average order value goes up, but my conversion rate goes down by doing the bulk versus just going straight into a solid product page where it just kind of sells it straight there. You're going to have to test it for your own market, to be honest. Really, really depends. What email or CRM do I use with Shopify? We've got this plugin that we're using which does abandoned cart follow-up, and it also does SMS abandoned cart follow-up. That's all we're using for that. I'm not even following people up for reorders yet. I haven't had to. We've just been kind of selling out. I'm kind of ahead on inventory now for the first time ever. So I haven't been pushing that hard with emails. I prefer using Active Campaign over most stuff. What else? Yeah, Clickfunnels was for testing a product, Shopify selling it. Yeah, got it. Theme template do I use for Shopify? It's just like, we just customized one, just pretty simply, just to make it a one product page. There's heaps of solutions for that. I just went with something that like I wanted, that I could just have, I land on the homepage and it's just got the product shot on the left, and then check cart stuff on the right, and then down below it's got the description. Pretty simple. I mean, at the end of the day, the theme, it's more about the copywriting and the photos that you use, because most people are on mobile. So, you know, these crazy good layouts and stuff like that, most people aren't on web anyways. So who cares? I haven't used Turbo Theme. Do I cover product research in the course? Yeah, I do. Yeah, just my usual channels. But, you know, guys, I've already mentioned what they all are. You can probably work out how to do a lot of it. As I say, I'm not hard pitching on this thing, because I'm just telling you guys straight up anything you ask me. Does Direct Heroes and Insta Mentions still work? I haven't done Insta Mention in 6 months, I have to admit. Direct Heroes does still work. They are a little bit pricey for some people, but they do a really good job. They're getting really good ROIs on a lot of stuff, and they could work really well for this, because you're not limited by ads getting approved. So Direct Heroes could be a good option for that. YouTube ads, I'm not running right now. I haven't had to yet, but depending what you do, depending if it's demonstrable or not. Like if you're doing UV hand sanitizer, I'd be running YouTube ads for sure. Depends what you kind of, how much explaining your product needs. YouTube can be really good. So I've also got I'll talk about at the very end, I'll talk about my course stuff a little bit more, guys. I know there's a bunch of questions here for that. What's the best long-term strategy, even when this is over? Okay, so there's really two strategies. And it's a fucking great question. Firstly, no one knows how long this is going to go. So it's very hard to predict, because, just a sec, I need some Red Bull, guys. It's 7 a.m. here. Okay, so what I would imagine is some of my products are going to be done. It's just fucking done when this is all over. Some of them, consumption may stay high. People might be using more of that. People might be more inclined to buy it, and I might be able to keep it going. So, yeah, I only had 3 hours sleep, by the way. I have a lot of Red Bull, but yeah, what I would say is it depends on your product, and you got to think, like, is consumption going to stay high because habits have changed? If you're selling disinfectant wipes or something like that, well, it's going to be a market that stays. Now, is your pricing good enough that you're going to be able to survive when pricing goes down? And that's really the big question, right? And you may be able to put yourself in a position where that will make sense, because you've got all these deals in place already. You've been able to accrue enough cash that you can get better pricing. Yeah, that's what I would say about that. Now, this is where I say, if the pandemic ended tomorrow, could I sell everything and just get cash out? And I try to be in that position, because that's one of my strategies, potentially. Like, for some products, it's going to be that. It's just going to be like, just sell it all up. The end's coming. Fuck it. Just get out. So it really depends what you're doing. The fire sale scenario, well, it's not one that's, you know, you might want to keep the business going after. You just might not be able to. And that's fine, because if you made your cash and you got out, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's fucking amazing. Don't be tied to that. You're going to have learnt a lot of new skills, and you may find new opportunities that come from that. So I've learned a lot from that. I'll get to all the core stuff shortly, because I'm very hesitant to make this a pitch fest. So yeah, now, if I can get my pricing right, now what you'll notice is, as you get better, if you're buying larger quantities and you get your streamlined your processes, then you may be able to get it to a point where you can price compete even once this is all over. And you may have distribution channels all set up that are going to last. If you've got all your corner stores and stuff like that you're selling stuff into, while your pricing may go down, it still may be profitable even after the pandemic. And yeah. So let me just talk a little bit about, I'm just getting so many questions about my courses, so I'll just lay it out really quickly. So Pandemic Cash is like a mini course. It was a bonus for my other course to all the people who bought that. Pandemic Cash is $197, and it just covers all of the stuff that I've been talking about here, just in more depth. It's like 3.5 hours or 3 hours or something like that, and it just goes in more depth, more structured, and you know, it's very much the same content as this. You could walk away from this without buying Pandemic Cash, and you can go and do all of this stuff. If you just want a bit more detail and you want to be able to go watch it more granularly and more structured, then yeah, it's probably a really good buy. I've got HYA, which is Hack Your Agency, and it's more about a business model. It's more expensive. The price keeps changing. I forget what the pricing is right now because it just keeps going up as I do all my stuff. It's like a couple of $1,000s kind of thing, something like that, maybe a bit more. And but I do payment plans and stuff. Just contact me if you need a longer payment plan. But what I cover there is everything. But the idea behind it is how to do equity deals, how to, if you run an agency or something like that, how to get out of that, how to do conversion optimization really well, building out your sites, validating. This is whether it's e-com or whether it's lead generation, various different business models that I run or have run in the past that have been profitable, and how I do them end to end, and different traffic sources. And I just cover so much. I think there's like 20 hours of content or something like that already in there. And I've only released half of the course, not even half of the course yet. I'm just dripping more and more of it. One of my members asked, when's module 3 going live? It's probably still a week or two away. I am partly filmed on it, but it's not there yet. There's 5 modules in Hack Your Agency. So if you're interested in Hack Your Agency, it's just hackyouragency.com. And there's a webinar that will give you some hacks and explain what the course is. So enough pitching. Let's get back to some more questions. I mean, in that one, I give you everything I know. Jamil's done a really good explanation there. So everything related to growth. Hack Your Agency contains pandemic cash, by the way. You do get that for free as part of Hack Your Agency. But yeah, it's everything that I know about growth hacking, equity deals, because I get like 50% of companies given to me to come in, already profitable companies, and stuff like that. And I do these equity deals all the time on everything from, like, my most recent one is a coffee scrub. And then I show you how I scale them up in the traffic sources and conversion optimization and everything. So that's what I do there. Are all my businesses on pause or doing this pandemic cash on the side? It's a mix. So that's a really good question. So I have paused some stuff and just kind of walked away from it essentially, and went, look, if I want to get back into that later, I can. And that's mostly on the lead generation side. That's all just changed, because if you lead generate for companies that don't want leads right now because they're closed down, then it's fucking pointless. If with e-com stuff, some of it is just totally, demand has not changed, but consumer behavior has. And I've been able to keep some going and still growing. So we've had, the biggest month ever already, and we're only up to the 20th for a coffee scrub business that I did an equity deal on. And what's happened is CPMs have gone down, but so has the amount that someone's willing to spend. The consumers aren't spending as much. And so conversion rate is still the same, strangely enough, but average order value has gone down, but CPMs have gone down. And what that's meant and this applies to anybody who's got a business that's currently running and you want to see what's going on, like what to do right now. It's really about, you may have to change your offer. So what I've had to do is I've gone from doing like a upsell. So the products say we've got a free plus shipping going, right? And the free plus shipping is actually profitable on the front end and I show you guys how to do all that stuff in my course. But free plus shipping is not dead if you buy at the right price and you do everything right. And I'll just tell you straight up, our sales channel to do free plus shipping is a messenger bot, free plus shipping, where we send straight from the ad to messenger and then basically have them check out. It feels like they're checking out inside Messenger. They're not really, it's still a website elsewhere. But if you make it look kind of like Facebook, like the same colors and fonts, it feels like it's native and your conversion rate's crazy. My conversion rate is over 20% of people that click on that ad buy on my free plus shipping offer, straight from Facebook, completely cold lookalike audience. And so what's happened is, we've got cheap CPMs converting like crazy, but then, we don't make much on that free plus shipping. Like we make like $2 or something, right? So then that's great for getting us leads, but then we need to sell them more stuff to actually make money. So then on the back end, what we've got to do is we have to upsell them. And we went from being like $120 upsell to now we're doing like a $40 upsell. It's because people are just more conscious of spending big money, especially on products they haven't tried before. And we're able, after they get the product, because it's a genuinely good product, then we are able to convert still on that higher price point upsell, but we're just not able to do it on the front end. So, so I just got some questions. So how do I figure out product quality when buying from Alibaba? Sometimes there's 20 sellers and with nearly but not quite identical products at different price points. That's a really good point. I'll tell you straight up what I did, and this is because I had the cash to do it. And then you can kind of work it backwards from there. There's a couple of things. Firstly, you can get someone to go inspect the product. Secondly, I get them to do a video and like just, you know what I mean? I just want to get more photos and videos of it and just kind of, I know you're guessing from that. Now, third, you can pay to send someone around to check it out for you, just third party. I just went with videos, and then what I did was I actually bought from multiple suppliers. So I've actually got 4 suppliers of the exact same product. They're slightly different, but they're very similar. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Slightly different pricing, and I actually bought from 4 different suppliers. Smaller amounts, and then they arrived, different days, and it was, a bit of a mess. But now I know which one I like the most. And there was one of them I liked more than the others. One of them was kind of shit, and then 2 of them were pretty good, but not quite as good as the best one. And that's what I got from just buying. Now you could do that with samples, or you could do that with larger amounts. It's up to you. That's how I went around that. Any hacks for growing an email list? Running a food site that's up to 5K users a day through Pinterest and SEO, but struggling to capture emails. It's really going to come down to, you need to give them a lead magnet that just captures their interest. And just testing that aggressively. It's really about just knowing your numbers. So you're getting 5K users a day. You can test really, really quickly using something like Google Optimize, having different landing page, like different things that you're testing, and throw completely different lead magnets. And don't even bother making the lead magnets before you test them. Validate that first. Make sure people are actually signing up for it, and then make it. And you'll burn a few users, but you'll know before you actually go and make a lead magnet. And so I would aggressively test a whole heap of different lead magnets in a scenario like that. Fastest way to build an email list for affiliate marketing depends what your niche is. Really depends what your niche is. Like, fastest way, it just totally depends what your niche is. A lot of people use other people's email lists and then try to build it up from that. So they'll pay cost per click on something like Udemy, and then they'll get them to opt into their list. And it's a really quick way because you already know that these people are willing to be on email lists. And it depends what you're trying to get your price at. But a lot of people make that work. It's not something that I do, but I do know that that's a profitable strategy. Okay, I thought Pandemic Cash was a standalone course. Pandemic Cash is a standalone course. I built it as a bonus module, and it ended up getting pretty big. It was a bonus module for Hack Your Agency, and it ended up getting pretty big. So then I ended up selling it as a standalone course because it's worth doing. And it's really good. You now know what it's about. Like, it's all this shit. What do you use for upselling? Shopify or Clickfunnels or something? So on Shopify, there's Sweet Upsell is the best if you're doing Afterpay. If you're doing Afterpay or stuff like that, they've got really good integrations. If not, then you can use something like Zipify, which seems to have better sequences. So it depends what I'm doing, which one I use. And then Clickfunnels is built for doing upsells. How did you find a third-party person to go to the supplier and make video pictures? I just got the supplier to take those videos and pictures, and I just kept hitting them. And one of the good ways is I say, I want the measurement because I'm getting packaging made up, and they'll actually, because then you get it on all angles, because they'll actually go around the product and they'll size it all up and stuff like that. If it's packaging, you want to know all that stuff so you can get labels printed or whatever. So getting them to size it up, you'll get so many photos of it that are like high def, and you'll be able to make a pretty good call. How would you recommend a beginner to start with after considering the cost of the course? Honestly, I've given enough here that you could go and start without buying the course. Like, I think, you know what I mean? It all comes down to being an action taker and just pulling the trigger. Start small. I'll just say, only start within your means, but take action and take it fast. That's the best way to start as a beginner. I've given, all the secrets from Pandemic. I'm sure I've missed some stuff, but like most of it, I've just given for free here. And, if you can afford it, then it could be better, but yeah. Have I scaled back expenses? On some companies, I have. There's been certain things where we've scaled back the nice to haves. And but for the most part, most of my stuff that I've kept going has been able to stay running much the same as what it was. Okay. How do you integrate Shopify and ClickFunnels? I don't integrate them. I don't actually integrate them. I use them for separate things. So, ClickFunnels I'll use for validation and stuff like that. Shopify I will use to actually sell stuff. You could use it's funny, right? On ClickFunnels, I get more versatility and I can get a higher click-through rate on a sales page, but then their checkout converts like shit compared to Shopify. Shopify has all these awesome integrations with Google Pay and Apple Pay and all that kind of stuff. And they just, and people trust it, and it just, their checkout. So theoretically, you could just send from a ClickFunnels sales page to a Shopify checkout if you wanted to. And that would probably be the best result that you're going to get. Because ClickFunnels, you can adapt and change your layout faster on that sales page and get your click-through rate to the checkout faster. But it's up to you. But it's not so much about the tools. It's about like how you're using them, and can the tool just get it done? That's really it. Pretty broad question, but any tips on someone starting a marketing agency right now? Do equity deals. This is what I cover in Hack Your Agency, but you don't need to buy that to know this. Equity deals are where you make the real money. This is where I made all of my initial, my first millions were from this. I had a marketing agency. It was like a web design / marketing agency. And we saw our clients making heaps of money. And then like for us though, we were making like fuck all, and it was really hard work. And if you have one bad month, they fire you and go with someone else who then goes and fucks it up, versus like now I do equity deals where I'll find somebody who, they're not too big to not do an equity deal, right? But I've already maybe played in that market for a client that might be paid, or I just know I'm going to be able to make it work in that market. They're pretty small, but they've already got it profitable. If you get a profitable business and you split test, it's only going to become more profitable. It's just that simple. If it's not making money yet, it can be hard because you got to get it to click, right? But if you've got a profitable business, you give me a profitable business and I'll be able to scale it 100% of the time because I just know I can split test my way to victory. It's just, and that's why in Hack Your Agency, I cover a lot of conversion optimization, because I get an equity deal. I run a test phase so that I know that they're good to work with and they know I'm good to work with. I know I can get the results for them that I want, and it's going to be worth my time. And then I'll end up taking a percentage of the company. My most recent one took 50%. It's quite often I'll take 50%. But if you're newer, you might not be able to negotiate that. Then what I do, I've now got a stake in the company. Now that equity deal, it might be, I get the equity drip fed to me over a year to make sure I'm going to hang around. But now I'm getting a cut of the profits. It's just that simple. So when I had that web design agency, we had a client come along who we knew we could get a result for, and we ended up doing an equity deal. And then that was the weight loss company, did like 3 million or something revenue, and did the first million in the first 12 months. That's how I got my 2 Comma Club award. And that was an equity deal. So rather than doing that for a client and getting paid a retainer, which would have made me fucking 10, you know what I mean? Like 12 grand or something, or even 50 grand. Now I'm a chunk of those millions of dollars. So that's my advice for anyone starting a marketing agency, or if you've got one right now. Those equity deals are going to be it. Is this recorded? Yes, it is recorded, and I'll be putting it online. I'll be emailing that out to everybody. So yeah, HW, yeah, I do test demand. I'll send you a recording because I did already cover that. Can you use HYA to start your own businesses from the ground up? Yes, you could. So I do cover validation through to conversion optimization and everything. Just everything I know about all that. Also doing lead generation is a business model that I cover in there, where you can get started very cheap and basically be, and then you can edge towards an equity deal there if you want, or a pay on performance, percentage of profit, and get creative there. What niches are doing super well right now for info products during this time? And make money from home is really the obvious stuff. That's, you know what I mean? But if you can show people how to transition from and get specific, then you'll do really well. For example, people that may have been laid off and they've got a certain skill set that they could do from home, but their larger company didn't keep them on, then that would be people who've probably, okay, I'll give you an example. If you made a course for accountants on how to start their own practice and start making money from home, there's plenty of accountants that probably got laid off that were large firms that just can't operate like that. A lot would have kept a lot on, but there's going to be a market there, right? And I would test that, of course, beforehand. That's specific enough that they'll just spend, because now it's just such a direct info product. What apps do I recommend for Shopify? So what I would say is, with the current environment, then scarcity works really well. All those conversion tactics. So any Shopify apps right now, let me just pull up my Shopify just a sec. Tell you exact ones that I have running. So let's see what apps I have inside my Shopify. So Ali reviews, because reviews are super important. Consistent Cart is what I'm using for abandoned carts. And that does SMS as well as email. Free persistent cart app. So that one, I can't even remember exactly what that one does. Liveify, so live visitors widget, show how many people are looking right now. I'm using mass fulfill, but that's just like for fulfillment stuff for actually getting the shipping. Next sale, social proof, showing recent purchases. And then SMS bump, marketing automation. Okay, that one must be the one doing the SMS. So yeah, that's what I'm using in my Shopify. And then we're just gonna, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah. There's a few guys asking about module 3 for Hack Your Agency. Yeah. I'm onto it. Definitely onto it. I'm aiming for the next week or two. It's like probably about 40% filmed. I'm just wrapping that up because it's a complicated module. So yeah, thanks for giving that. Yeah, Zon, thank you for giving that little list. That's awesome. How do I come up with headlines? Yeah, like copywriting stuff. That's a really good question. It depends what you're selling, right? If you've got enough traffic, then you test. If you don't have enough traffic, you got to make a bit of a guess. And so normally I'll look at what competitors and stuff are doing. If it's my brand, I don't really bother because I'm just very different than everybody else, and I just be me and just try to be funny. I actually treat it like I just want to make it that I would just laugh if I saw that. That's what I do with my brand. But if I'm selling an e-com, I can't do that, right? And so, it's really about what's your big idea? What's your biggest selling point? And so if it's like an info product or something like that, there's going to be, so if it's an info product with copywriting, and this applies without a pandemic, the idea is that you want to come up with something that makes sense. It's like you've got this new reason why this will work and why everything that they did in the past failed. And I'm going to give you a really good example of an angle. And then you just base your headline around the angle, right? Because you might want to put some social proof into your headline and stuff like that as well. But the big idea we had was, okay, the reason why you haven't stuck to why you haven't been able to lose weight and all of those weight loss programs and gyms have failed you is because you don't actually enjoy it. And that's because you don't like the food that you're eating. This is a problem with diets. You don't like the food that you're eating. And because of that, you just can't stick to it because it's a chore. But if you had a meal plan that only had the foods that you liked, it didn't have any foods that you didn't like, then you would stick to it. You'd forget you were on a diet and you'd lose weight. And so what we've done is we've come up with like an algorithm that creates a diet plan for you that will only give you, tell us what food you like, tell us what food you hate. You're only going to get food that you like. And then you'll be able to stick to it and you'll be able to lose weight. And so that's what we did. That was our marketing angle. And then we built all of our copy around that. And then what we did was we worked out what, like for like our secondary angles when we're doing our copywriting. One of the good ways was going through the questions that we got emailed, questions we got hit with support, stuff like that. And then we would answer them in like an FAQ, or also we'd just expand our copy out to that. One of the big ones was in weight loss was most of our clients were female and they had to cook for the whole family and they didn't want to have to cook 2 meals, one for them for their diet and one for the rest of the family. If it was food that their family would enjoy, they would buy. And so by making that clear in our copy, and we only worked that out just by going through the chats, asking about that and just talking to customers. And we found out that was a big selling point. So that's just an example of how just doing your research on that. That's for like a, totally different market, but that principle applies to anything. What's your biggest selling point? And if they have used a product like this before, then why didn't it work for them? And how do you fix that? Do I have a recommendation for SB located in Europe, wanting to sell to USA, UK? What do you mean by SB? Sorry, Jajan. Yeah. Payments, Stripe versus PayPal. I get a higher somebody. Okay, sorry. Recommendation. So what I normally do is I'll try to team up with somebody who I trust on the ground. This is what I'm doing in the USA right now. Got someone on the ground that I trust, and I'm trying to get into the USA market. I just had a heap of inventory land, and I just got someone on the ground that I trust. You don't have to, but you can find people that you can work with. But without having someone on the ground, this can be quite hard. You can find people in Facebook groups and stuff like that, and you can find people on Airtasker, TaskRabbit, and stuff like that. It can be hard to pull this off without anybody, though. You've got to put someone in place. Now, you might not have met them. You might build that trust really quickly and just know them online, and that's fine. But you do need to have someone on the ground to pull off a strategy like this, I think. Look, you could get everything done in China and get it sent over to somebody in like a fulfillment company, and that could work for you. But if you don't have somewhere to send it, to have it, you need to kind of, it could be, you could go directly to a 3PL company. It doesn't have to be Amazon fulfillment. There's companies like ShipBob and like there's other companies that you can use. There's one called ShipBob for the USA. But there's companies everywhere. It's just called 3PL, third party logistics. And there's Amazon's not the only one. Any 3PL would work. And if you can get your goods already kind of ready in China and sent over, then you'll be fine. The problem is, obviously, if you want to do the manufacturer strategy, you can't, but there's no problem with doing that, depending what you're doing. If you're not too worried about getting hit with price gouging and stuff like that, and you can get good packaging done or something like that, you haven't used them, but I just have a chat with them. Like really just have a chat with them. And so, I'll get back to Stripe versus PayPal. What I've found is I do definitely get a higher conversion rate if I offer both. So I prefer Stripe. I'd love to never use PayPal again in my fucking life, but I get a higher conversion rate. There's like a 15% jump in conversion rates on average on one of our stores we noticed when we put PayPal on. So just is what it is. So somebody said, like, is 1,000 purchases still the bare minimum for lookalike audiences? Well, it depends how big the purchase price is. I have made them work with less. I'll put it that way. I've made them work with much less, with like 100 people. But it depends how big your market is, how specific it is. If it's a big market, you actually need less people because it'll be able to just kind of, you can be more hit and miss with what your audience is. It also depends what country you're in, because the lookalike in Australia is very different than the lookalike in America. So there are variables there, but I would say test it. Just test it. Like, that's simple. It just always comes back to testing. Any recommendations on businesses only accept the wire transfer as a payment? How do we stay protected because they can just run away with the money? So it depends. Like, if I'm buying from China, I will push them for Alibaba trade assurance. Now, I took a 25 grand punt a couple of weeks ago and it worked out fine. But if we lost the money, we lost the money. So it's you got to be able to risk it to not use trade assurance. Now, can you talk them into escrow? If they're just dead set on wire transfer, then, I mean, you're going to want to research the fuck out of them. I would pay the money. If it was a reasonable sized order, I would pay the money to literally send someone around that I just find on the internet, someone third party, to send around and suss them out in person. It's just that simple. I just wouldn't take risks on wire transfers without having somebody third party suss them out completely. And then they get there, it's a real factory, and it's like, well, they can't up and leave. You know what I mean? They've been around forever and a day, and they've got a heap of reviews. And I might even try to talk to some of their customers if it was a really big order. So yeah. Any advice on selling any ebook digital content during this time? It's really just going to come down to, like, what I found is it's harder to sell high ticket right now. People just don't have the money, or they're hesitant to spend the money because we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know when income's going to go back to normal. So payment plans are super useful right now. But just be careful with high ticket. Lower ticket flies out the door. Pandemic cash has been doing awesome because it's just low ticket. Like, it's just super easy right now. Whereas HYA, it's just a little bit harder right now. I mean, it's still selling good, but it's like I'm just not even pushing it that hard because it's just a fair bit of money for people. I want to scale this new e-com store up and sell it in the next few months. Best advice to focus it, make it as valuable as possible. One product brand. Look, if it's a brand new product, if it's a brand new e-com, if you're going to sell it, I'll just give a bit of advice just in general about business valuations, especially around e-com. And I know I'm going over time here, guys. I don't mind. Anyone who drops off, you will get a recording. So what I would say, just a bit of general advice in selling a website that's especially e-com. This coffee scrub brand that I got a piece of, they've been around for like 5 years or something, like 4 years, 5 years. Now, I've come in and got half of the company. But if we go to sell it, this is a 4-year-old business that looks like it's just booming now. You got to look at that. What multiple am I going to get on that? A business that's 4 years old and now it's booming and taking off, versus one that I made from scratch that did the same numbers, and then they might go, oh, hasn't really been around long. This could just be luck. You know what I mean? It's very different valuations. I'll tell you that. We go from maybe getting like a 1-year multiple to a 5-year multiple very quickly from having that age in the business and then it looking like it's a good time, versus something that looks like it might just be lucky, fly by night, short-term strategies. So by doing equity deals, we're able to get a much higher multiple because we can get companies that have been around for a long time and they just haven't been able to quite crack it. And they've been kind of hovering around profitability. That's prime for an equity deal. How more or less would it take a complete newbie to learn your techniques and start making money after we buy your program? Look, it's really up to you. I mean, this is a problem with teaching. This is honestly my biggest fear with teaching is that I teach people who don't make money. And I have had 0 refunds on Hack Your Agency, by the way. 0 refunds. And I've been late as fuck on content. I'll put it that way. That's what's crazy. There's like 100 people in there now or something. I have 0 refunds. Started in November. Everyone's happy from what I could tell. Because this shit does work, but you got to realize you got to put the work in. What I would say is, what's your definition of making money? And this is where I think a lot of people go wrong when they're starting out. And sorry for the really experienced guys here. This is a bit of newbie stuff, but it made a really big difference to me when I was starting, and for a lot of people that I've mentored and taught this to. When you're starting out, you have a number in your head of what you've got to get to ASAP. And that number is normally dictated by the wage that you're on, the wage that you were on, or what your friends are making. It's normally one of those things. And this number is actually arbitrary. So it's like, I'm going to make $1,000 a week or $1,500 a week or $2,000 a week or whatever it is, because that's what I was making or that's what I make. And that's what my friends all make. And they're all going to call me a fucking idiot because I've gone down this entrepreneur path and I'm only making $200 a week. Here's the thing. You have to make $10,000 a week. You probably have to make $200 in a week. Now, you might make more the next week. You might make 10 grand your first week, but it's more than likely you're going to start small. And this is what happened with me, where it was like, okay, well, I started small with the web design agency, a few years ago now. But basically, I was happy when I sold my first site for $50. That was fine. Now, the reason I was happy was because I got past this mentally, and I wasn't having success before that because I kept taking these shots were out of my depth. I didn't have the experience. Kept trying to make 10 grand in a week because that would impress everybody. And then once I got past that, and I went, I just want to make some money. And if I can do that in a repeatable way, then I'm going to be able to scale up and make more in the future. That's what I'm going to focus on. When I made that jump, and then I also, obviously, you got to work out what do you need to stay alive. Now, I moved home with my mum and worked out of the garage. That's how I got past that. Not everyone can do that, but you got to work out what you can do. If you've got savings, that helps. Give yourself a certain amount of time. But the idea is just start making money. So yeah, if you want to start making money, just go buy 10 phone UV sanitizers and go sell them on eBay. You're making money. Then go buy 20, then go buy 50, then go buy 500. Like, don't put this barrier up that you need to make a certain amount or it doesn't count. It all counts. Keep doubling down, and you're going to learn as you go, and you're going to get better, and you're going to have more capital behind you. And so that's what I would say for newbies. Made all the difference in the world to me. So Nelson selling $250K a month right now via YouTube ads, but depends on you for sure. Sold about 10K units of this product on general store. Also have 20K list of emails from previous advertising. Just trying to make some quick cash and do not want to keep selling this product long. Yeah, I mean, in that kind of scenario where you just want to cash out, just work out what your number is and sell. Like work out what your number is and just get it sold. And potentially, if you're out of love with it, make a deal with somebody who'll go sell it for you and give them a cut. If you just want to make some quick cash and not worry about it, there's plenty of people that are hungry to go sell on a commission. You'll find them in the groups and stuff. And if they're no good, they don't get paid anything. Don't waste too much time on them. But yeah, if you've got inventory and you've got, if you've got an email list, you may even do like a commission relationship with a copywriter, and say, yeah, look, you sell them, you get this cut. And, you could already prove that you've sold units and stuff. You might snag a decent copywriter. Test them out though. The good thing with copywriting is you can kind of tell if it's good or not. Everyone talks their big numbers and stuff. You can tell by reading something if it's good or if it's shit. So I've done those before where I've given a commission to a copywriter and said, look, this is what I've got. I'll give you a cut. This is the cut, and and here's my email list. So you bring the email list and the inventory. So I guess I'm going to be going to scale to 10K a day, which is easily doable. How much would be a fair price for a new site? Look, that's a really, really hard question, because the big question is this going to be around after the pandemic? That's the big question. Now, if it's a business that's going to survive after the pandemic, then you're going to get a way different multiple. If it's a cash grab, I mean, it's actually going to be quite hard to sell right now. And you may instead consider putting someone in place that you're going to kind of mentor a little bit, and you're going to get them so that they can run it for a cut. And, you know, you might be giving them 20% of profit, but they do everything, and you're going to teach them how to do it, but it's going to take less and less responsibility. And then they've got no risk. You've got, you know, you're going to mentor them and watch it properly, but then you end up at this point where in a month you're just not doing anything, and you're only losing 20% of your profit to do that, and just keep it running with somebody on a commission to make sure it all works. You check in once a week. I do deals like that where I give percentages of businesses to have people take care of shit for me. Like, it's just, it makes sense. And if you've got a track record, which you do, then that's a really good deal for everybody involved. Have click prices in Google Ads been up or down since the pandemic? It depends what the market is. I've seen them go down though. I think click prices are actually really reasonable right now in most of my markets, which are surprisingly reasonable. But it depends, because some of them have obviously gone up. My issue for several sites was getting my CAC affordable. So I invested lots of time and got break even. I'm super interested in learning creative acquisition strategies get a lot of CAC. For example, a product we had was a $2 buy and $19.99 retail, but my CAC was something like $9. No, it was like $11. With shipping, etc., it was pretty much break even. Any suggestions for this? It's all about your upsells. It's all about what percentage can you get to buy a higher ticket item, which when you say higher ticket, don't think I've got to go expand my inventory. Like, one of the tricks that I do is I do a free plus shipping, and then I just say, well, do you want to buy 12 of them for half price after they buy, or something like that? Just sell bundle deals of the same product. If it's that kind of product, it might not be that kind of product, but you get my point. So, but you need upsells. That's how you don't even worry about that CAC. If you're at break even on after shipping and that, you pretty much break even, then make your money on your upsells straight away. If you really just want to cash out, Jamil, talk to this guy. Jamil buys businesses and stuff. Jamil, talk to this guy. Other than that, talk to e-commerce brokers. He may have a buyer for you. E-commerce brokers. I'll drop it in here. So this is, I just dropped, just a second. Yeah, e-commerce brokers. This kid, his name's George Moulos. He's just a kid. He's like 21. I mentored him for the last 3 years. He actually got kicked out of home for not going to university. I said, don't go to university, it's fucked. His parents kicked him out, so I said, fuck it, move in with me. He lived with me for like a year, and then he started some businesses. He's been successful. He's been traveling the world ever since. He's a fucking good guy, and I'm really, really proud of him, like a proud dad, even though I'm only like 10 years older than him. And but yeah, he's e-commerce brokers. He's been doing really well. He'll tell you straight up what it's worth. He'll tell you buyers that he's got. Yeah, Flipper can be kind of shit. George lists all his stuff on there anyway, but it's not where he sells via. Empire Flippers can be okay, but yeah, if you want an actual broker, go to George. Well, I mentor you too. It was just luck. That was just timing. Yeah, that was just timing. He got super lucky, and he was persistent, I have to say. He came to me and he said, I'll work for you for free. And I said, I'm not going to have you work for me for free, because I'm going to teach you everything, and then you're just going to fuck off. And I've spent all this time on you. Like, I know how that goes, because I would do that. But then timing aligned, and I liked the kid, and it just worked out really well. But my girlfriend lives with me now, and she would not be down with that. Even though when George is in Australia, we still let him sleep here. So, okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Am I selling Hack Your Agency on YouTube? I'm actually not running any paid marketing. I've run a little bit of Facebook, but fuck all. That one I've just been doing email. This is funny because it's done 6 figures, and I've only done it from my email list, and I've spent like a few $100 on ads or something. But I mean, that's because my list already knows my content and all that. It's probably going to do well on YouTube, and we're probably going to start selling it. We're probably going to start selling it on YouTube soon. Who do you recommend we follow on Insta marketing wise? I don't think you can convey much on Instagram marketing wise. I think it's all just inspirational stuff, which is fine. I mean, some people need that stuff. I used to need that stuff. How big's my email list? I think it's Jamil, can you chime in? Jamil will know. How big's the email list? The amount, yeah, okay, 24 to 25K. And so I built that with Top Fucking Secret purely by having that referral system in place. $0 spent. And that's the actual numbers. That's like that we deliver emails to. That's because, okay, 1 to 2K bounce. Yeah, because we did a bit of filtering before. How do I sell pandemic cash? I've only sold it via Top Fucking Secret email list. I haven't done any traffic channels for that. It's just this list. Yeah, Nelson, I think you're pretty good, aren't you? I think we talked a little bit. I think you're actually a pretty good operator. Man, I would probably do something like Top Fucking Secret, make a heap of free content, and then have an unlock strategy and just do what I did there. I'm going to start YouTubing. I'm going to start doing YouTube content and just build up a following on there so I can sell courses, just organic. And then we're probably going to run YouTube ads and all that kind of stuff. We're just working it out. I mean, the thing is, I don't care that much about selling info products. It's not, I do it because I enjoy it. I actually make most of my money from other shit, like actually doing shit. So, yeah, that info product, I'll be straight up. I did a JV deal where I just went halves with a marketer to push my stuff and I don't have to look at it. I don't even send those, all the emails and stuff you get. I'll approve them and I write some of them, but yeah, I don't really do much. I just did a deal and I'll be straight up. Yeah, like that's worked out really well for me because I can focus on my other businesses and I can just make the content and then I just have someone else push it. And then obviously I'm a pretty good marketer, so I do help work out the strategy, but I don't have to do any implementation. So how to monetize TikTok? They don't allow external links like they do. It's up and down how they've done this because they did it, then they pulled it, and they did it again, doing links on profile. But one of the ways to monetize TikTok right now, I haven't told anyone this strategy openly, but I'll tell you guys because you're here. Lucky you. I've got a hack, the Cameo hack, where you jump on there, you get an influencer to do stuff. That's how you find your targets. Now, if you think about TikTok, think about it as like, I do it, by the way, in Hack Your Agency, I have a full module on TikTok, but I'm going to give you a strategy here anyway. If you got big on TikTok, it was by accident. If you got big on Instagram in the last year, you meant to. It was a lot of work. You knew what you had to do and you knew what that was going to be worth to you. You knew there was going to be an ROI. These TikTok people don't know their value because of that. So because of that, if you get them to do stuff for you, they'll do it really cheap because they don't know their value. Like an Instagram influencer. They don't even know what it is to be an influencer, yet they might have a huge audience. And so use Cameo to find people who are trying to monetize their TikTok. They'll be really cheap. Buy a gig, but don't even get them to do the gig and just say, hey, just email me. It's going to get flooded now. I'll put this out there. Just email me. Yeah, cameo.com. I've got a hack in Top Fucking Secret about Cameo you should be able to find. That covers that one completely. But this TikTok idea is to get in contact with TikTokers who are trying to monetize and just say to them, hey, you said $20 to do a Cameo. I'll give you $50 if you do a video for me, and stuff like that. And they'll do it. And it's just super cheap right now to be using TikTok influencers and just get them to directly promote a product. If you've got a brand name that you can rank for, that works really well. I know some guys were doing some Amazon stuff where they were just using Amazon FBA. It was a really TikTok-centric product. I can't say the product because it's not. I can't give it up. But it was higher ticket than what I expected. It was makeup related, and it was and it got female influencers, young female influencers. So it was $300, and they were able to sell a fuckload. They sold out within hours of this TikTok going live. So TikTok can work if you work out the right audience and you get them to just go, oh, you might be wondering how I do this. I'll just show you. This is the thing that I use. You can get it off Amazon. Just search for blah. But this is what it does, and blah, and you just get some chick talking about it like that. Get a bunch of chicks doing it like that, and you'll have hit and miss on them. But yeah. But yeah, it is mostly kids, but I was surprised. They actually have a decent audience. Yeah, as Jamil says, 25 and older and stuff. That it's growing in the older audiences, and those young 20s have still got money to spend. Thoughts on bringing in something heavy like weight plates, gym gear at the moment. Look, what I would say is the lighter workout from home stuff is easier. Your TRX style stuff. I've made a lot of money in TRX style stuff many years ago. And it's pretty light to ship, and you can get nice packaging and stuff. And there's good markup. Plates and weights, you pretty much got to get a cargo container and just bring it in via sea shipping. And I'm not saying it won't work. It probably will. Like it will probably work. So, yeah. Can influencers on TikTok link out to a sales page? I would have to check what they could do right now, but normally what they can do is a link in their bio. So they can say, oh, if you want a link, just jump to the link in my bio. Because in your bio, you can do a link, I believe. It was like that like a month ago. I haven't done anything on TikTok in like a month. Been too fucking busy. But that would be how you would do that, Nelson. Any other questions, guys? LinkedIn heavily subsidized if you classify an ad as a job ad. Any ideas how we could use this for e-com? Look, there's some black hat. Yeah, I don't want to get into that stuff around gaming job ads. It's a bit black hat. I'm going to chuck this on YouTube. So, Zon, thank you for buying the course. Where do I find new marketing tools? Finding them on Reddit or something? I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and I'm always looking around. And I only talk to marketers. Pretty much everyone in my life is a marketer. And so I share stuff. What I like to do is I'll call it like an info exchange, right? So I'll get a new hack that comes up that I'm not willing to share publicly because it'll get saturated. But I will have a dozen people that I'll go and share it to. Now, those dozen people share their stuff back to me. And that's how I work out a lot of stuff. Yeah, Zon, just if you're going to send me questions for email, just make them bullet points and send them over in one email. Don't hit me with 10 emails and I will respond. No problem at all. But yeah, just like go through it all, come up with all your questions and then send them over and I will respond. I'm not a member of Trackers. No, I'm not. I'm not sure what Trackers is. Might be a Facebook group or something. Yeah. Yeah. Any other random questions, guys? Because we'll wrap this up in a few minutes. All right. You got, would I ever do a discount on HYA during this pandemic? Slide into my DMs. Nelson, I know you've got hacks. And so I will give you a discount if you give me a substantial hack or some cool info. Yeah. Slide into my DMs. Best options for MLM people right now. Look, this is a hard one. I personally, I hate MLM. So, it's hard for me to talk about that while keeping a straight face. but right now, the problem with MLM is that you can't do your meetups where you normally pressure everyone into the sale because you can't do your meetups. It's going to be really, that's going to be really hard, I would say. It's not that you couldn't do it because a lot of people are trying to find other income sources, but what you got to work out is, I'd probably, honestly, for MLM, I would just go something like Instagram, direct heroes, organic. You're not worried about ad approvals because they notoriously hate MLM. I'm sliding into people's DMs and I'm telling them how to make money at home. I feel like I just made the world a worse place for telling you how to grow on MLM, but that would probably work pretty well. Thanks, Honor. Appreciate it, man. What else we got? Advice for service providers like realtors. You're just going to have to adapt, and it's going to depend on your isolation situation in your local area. So, realtors, look, people are still going to buy and sell houses, but it's going to be tough. What I'd be focusing on more is like building my brand for after the pandemic and just getting super known because you got all this time now where you would normally spend it. I would be trying to build the best custom audience for my area if I was a realtor. I would be putting out information that is community focused, not related to real estate. And I'd be building a custom audience from that you're going to be able to crush it with post-pandemic. I mean, you might crush it with it now, but the pandemic actually gives you a really good idea, a really good way as a realtor or something like that to build a local audience just by putting out good information for the local area and just being first to kind of comment on that stuff. So that's what I'd be jumping on. Okay, Spotify audio are great. Look, your what was costing on that? Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. It's $250 minimum buy. So to get started on Spotify ads from memory. So you got to take a bit of a punt there. You can get a really good voiceover on Fiverr to make that ad for you, and you could do some pretty good pattern interrupts with the audio, I'm sure. And yeah, I would see what I could get away with if I was going to do Spotify ads right now, because I know they're quite easy on the ad approvals compared to other platforms. And so if I was to have something that was like, and they do geographic based stuff, right? So you can name your zip codes for Spotify ads. So you can go, these zip codes. And so if you went like, important announcement for the greater Toronto area, and you had like a really formal sounding voiceover for that. It sounded like it was a government thing. Now you've got them listening to your fucking ad. And then from there, do whatever you're going to do. But geographic targeting is one of the best benefits of Spotify audio. You go, just email me, man. Yeah, just email me. Just jaredcodling@gmail.com. I respond to everybody's emails. Like I try to. It gets kind of crazy. And sometimes it's really short. But yeah. Yeah. I'm a proud Aussie. Kind of unrelated question, but I have a small growing TikTok following and have had someone reach out to me to sell products with my name associated to it. How should you charge commission per sale? I was thinking 50%. Look, it depends what you're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, this is how I look at every deal that's on a percentage basis. If everyone's not making money and it's not worth their time, then it doesn't work. So you don't try to get every dollar out of everybody. That's not how I work. I try to make it so that it's fair and good for everybody and it's on a deal by deal basis. But my general thing is if they're making plenty of money, then they're going to work harder and they're going to keep it as one of their primary channels. And so I'm normally quite generous with commissions and stuff like that. I got no problem giving up 50% of a business to kind of have somebody sell shit for me if I'm making money on that. Like it's, but I expect a lot when I'm doing equity deals because I know my time's valuable. And so it's about just valuing people heavily, like I value myself. And then if they perform, and just putting it in a situation where if they perform, they're rewarded. If they don't perform, then they don't get shit. What would I consider a really good sales funnel for a legit supplement brand right now? Selling greens, probiotics. I'm actually talking to somebody in a few hours, which has got like a really innovative one. Oh, it's Michael Brenner, bro. Yeah. How you doing, man? Good to see you in here, man. Michael Brenner's, yeah, he's a huge affiliate that nobody knows about, guys. Yeah, right now I would be doing, send me a message after this. I'll send you a funnel that I'm using and you'll be like, fuck. Sorry, guys, I can't give it out in the masses. If there's anyone specifically in that niche selling supplements who wants to see it, hit me up, but I'm not giving it out to the masses. So awesome info, creating my first Shopify store, niche products targeting USA and UK from China, Europe with Chinese products. Any recommendations or things to keep in mind? Work out your shipping really, really well. Call the shipping company, find out the exact situation, stay up to date with it. What they told you a week ago is no longer relevant. I call them like every second day right now. I'm dealing with them every second day. And the shipping is where you just really got to do that. When you buy from China, it's Alibaba Trade Assurance, EXW is the kind of shipping that you want. And you still want to, they'll say, I'm going to ship it with such and such. You say, cool, I'm going to talk to them as well. Don't call the China branch. I made that mistake. It's very hard talking to them. They've got broken English. You'll talk to your local one and they will know what's going on. So that's what I would do. Curious, what is Zoom for free? I don't know. Like, I've already sold some courses from it without even having to pitch. I like putting content out there. I like helping people. It's a pretty cool community we've got with Top Fucking Secret. And I don't know. I think it's just, I've always got good things from doing value, from giving value. And it gives me good deal flow too. People bring me cool deals and stuff like that. So I don't mind putting out free content. If I never did marketing, do you think it's possible to start a business using your course, both the cash pandemic and HYA? I would say, like, because you can just eBay sell a lot of this stuff in the smaller volumes. You could totally just pandemic cash, you would be able to just get some products and be able to sell, or go to corner stores. You don't need to market. It's about selling more than it is about, like, it's just hustling. HYA, it teaches you everything about marketing. Like, I cover everything I know about marketing. I don't hold back. There's no secrets. I just cover everything. So it's like a marketing crash course. Well, not even a crash course. It's way more thorough. There's so much content. It'll take you weeks to get through it. With shipping handler, most shipping handlers lie. Remember to hold them accountable. Yeah, look, it can be hard to hold them accountable right now. Like DHL and FedEx and stuff, you get what you get, but by having good communication with them, you can do pretty well to get reasonable estimates. But I mean, I've had stuff go wrong and there's just nothing you can do about it. The main thing is, don't use one of like the budget shitty ones just to save a few bucks. Reliability and getting your goods fast is more important than saving even 50% on shipping. because it's going to be like, you know, depending what you're selling, shipping might be half of your cost of your landed goods. Pay the extra amount to get a good shipping company. It's proven worth it for me. Joint supplements, love a copy of this. Just email me, jaredcodling@gmail.com, or just hit me up on Facebook. Shopify store and horticulture supplies. That's a really good one right now, man. Look, oh yeah, I've talked with you, Honna. Yeah, you're a cool guy. Yeah, Honna actually referred 250 people to Top Fucking Secret, and then that many got a call with me. So right now, you should be selling seeds and doing like a full grow your own garden package. That's what I'll be doing right now. People are worried about food and potential issues to do with food. Right now is an amazing time to be selling complete horticulture packages where it's like, this is everything you need to grow your own food. It's just a huge industry right now, Honna. If I look at like what channels, I'd be running Facebook ads or something like that, and that will probably perform, or Google ads. Google ads, you're going to be able to get some pretty good buyer intent. Just if you're doing Google ads, be really careful with your negative keywords. So as you start doing it, you're going to see what keywords people search for. Be religious about adding in negative keywords, and your campaign will gradually get better. That's going to be the biggest thing, because they're going to be searching for unrelated shit that still shows up for your terms. So just be really careful with that. CBD products, could I use your course to sell them? Yeah, you could, because I cover a lot of alternative traffic channels if Facebook banned you. There's a lot of stuff in there about that. And CBD, it's all about alternative traffic channels. Okay, hey guys, bought the course already and interested in partner with someone else from this group to blow up. 1, proven but currently struggling product, or 2, yeah, cool. Yeah, puts like anyone who's got a product. Dev, I've seen you around. Obviously, everybody, I'm not vouching for anyone in this, but vet them. But yeah, have a chat if somebody's got something that meets that criteria in the chat. Roughly, how much should you spend on validating products with ads before buying from Alibaba? Depends on the price of the product. If it's a small product, $20 product or something like that, you know, I might want to sell 5 to 10. If it's a $200 product, I'm not going to sell 10 because it's going to cost me a fortune in ads. If it's a $200 product, oh geez, well, I mean, everything you do is going to be more expensive if you do that, a product of that kind of magnitude. And because of that, yeah, I would just say you're probably going to want to sell it. Depending on the volume, you're going to buy 2. That's the other thing. So if you're going to go invest 20 grand, maybe spend 10% of what you're going to spend on stock on validating. That would be a good guide. I know someone selling educational toys and they're killing it. Definitely a great niche. Yeah, that's a really good niche right now. I know somebody also who's jumping into the like kids games, like card games kind of things, stuff, all that stay at home kind of stuff to keep the kids occupied. Just really, really hot niche right now. That's away from all the PPE and all that kind of stuff. It's just like literally think about how human behavior has changed, and you can get some really good niche ideas. Right, guys, I'm fucked. I'm going to wrap this up now. This has been so draining. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm super appreciative that you joined me at these weird hours. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love giving value like this. So yeah. Thanks very much, guys. I'll do more of these. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I'll do more. I'm going to make a YouTube channel soon. So follow me, get your friends to follow. And I'll be putting up some new content and stuff like that. As I say, you know, yeah, I make money from selling info products, but I'm literally trying to give you enough that you could go make a heap of money without even doing anything. I'll email over on the YouTube channel. I've got to rename it and shit. I'm just getting it started on there, but let's see how fast I can blow it up. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. And I'll send the replay to everybody. I'll send the replay. Cheers, guys.